And ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a late night, but a great night, evening edition of Livehour, YouTube's premiere off the clock appliance repair talk for off the clock appliance repair techs. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host with the most, Brother B, and you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. And ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate it. If you are a fan of the subject matter of appliance repair, if you are a fan of entrepreneurialism, growing your business, stick around because tonight is going to be a great night. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we're going to be discussing 2025. It's a new year. And what's the first thing on the agenda? So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into it. And let's not waste your time. Ladies and gentlemen, on tonight's episode of Live Hour, our first subject matter is going to be, let's get it right out the way, ladies and gentlemen, industry news. Ladies and gentlemen, in tonight's episode of Industry News, the event of all the events is upon us. The event of all the events is upon us. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are a servicer in the appliance repair industry, if you are serious, if you are a professional, if you are a true enthusiast, ladies and gentlemen, this is the event for you. It's right on the horizon, ladies and gentlemen. January 8th through the 12th, 2025. Where? Orlando, Florida. You may be asking, Brother B, what do you got us up at 10 o'clock at night talking about? Ladies and gentlemen, this is our conference. Every industry has a conference. Every industry has like a big event, a yearly event where all the industry leaders attend, all the manufacturers attend, all the third party warranties attend, all the application software designers, credit card, SEO companies, whoever has anything to do with the subject matter of the repair of appliances, they're going to be at this event. You have my word, 100%. So if you're serious about growing your business, if you're serious about networking with other servicers, if you're serious about signing up with major manufacturers, if you're serious about, a lot of people call me and say, man, I'm slow. I don't have any work. I asked them like, well, who you signed up with? Oh, I do Facebook and, I leave out flyers in my church, or, I do word of mouth. That's why you slow, man. You're not going to grow. You're not going to get a digital footprint in your area unless you become factory authorized. You become one of your preferred vendors for your third party warranties. You start getting repeat customers. All of this comes from this convention. This convention here, ladies and gentlemen, has helped my business grow. When I show up to this thing, I typically show up for about 4 days. Lunch and I believe breakfast are provided. Yeah, breakfast and lunch are provided. And this is when you sit down with other servicers across the country. Everybody will have a badge of some sort dangling across their neck. Just very much like these photos that you see here. And, on the badge, it will tell you where you from and so forth. But these people who attend this are the people who are going to get you into the door. You want to be a certain manufacturer authorized? Samsung, GE, Electrolux, LG, all these major manufacturers go to this place. All these manufacturers, they attend ASTI. They get factory training on their product. As you see here, some instructors giving top load washer training here. You see a bunch of people gathered around, but guess what? This guy is a manufacturer. This guy is a direct representative of a major manufacturer. This is the type of guy that I would want to talk to. Get his number or his business card so that if I'm ever working on these people's product, I could reach out to this guy and say, hey, you remember me? I attended ASTI. You gave a wonderful class. Hey, can you help me out? I'm working on a different product this time. Model number XYZ. Boo, boo, boo. Here's the symptoms. These people will help you because you built a rapport with them. Build a rapport with the manufacturer technical trainers. Over here, you have parts companies. You have a company like Reliable Parts. There's many parts companies that attend. Over here, you have a French range company called LeCanche. Over here, I signed up with them and made a lot of money doing their repairs. Are they difficult? Yeah. But do you get the training anywhere else? No. You get the training only one place, directly at ASTI. In case you don't know who LeCanche is, I'll show you some of their product real fast. Bear with me as I pull up some of their product, and you tell me is working on their equipment worth it or not. So here's some of the ranges that I work on. Okay. You can see some of these prices here. Okay. 5,000, 20,000, 15,000, 13,000, 19,000. Well, this is Wolf. This isn't LeCanche, but I work on Wolf too. So again, these French ranges that you see here, it's only one place that you're gonna get the training from. Right here. These guys here. They're gonna show up, and when they show up, you're gonna sign up with them. You're gonna take their training, and oh boy, what did I do now? Oops, I went to a different page. I wasn't supposed to. Oh boy, sorry guys. Let's go to the photo. All right, here you go. Again, here's some of that training that goes on. I want to go to the photo shoot. Okay. Oh, there's also raffles. This guy here, he won a Vulcan lock ring. That's my good friend said. You start to learn these people's names after so many years of attending. This is the banquet. Look how many people show up. And these are service professionals from all over the country. Great way to ask questions. You having the struggles of some sort? This is where you want to bring these questions up to these sorts of folks that attend these conferences. Again, it's in Orlando, Florida. It's nice and sunny down here. I'm sure wherever you guys live, respectfully, it's probably a lot colder than South Florida, unless you live like in Hawaii or Puerto Rico or, you know, somewhere that is real tropical. But down here, right now, it's about 72 degrees. Nice and, cool. Bring your family to Disney. So, okay, here's those French range guys again, LaCanche. Here they are over here. Here's their picture. This is where you get the training on how to work on their product. You can sign up with them. Again, who are some of the other people who are going to be in attendance? You got companies such as ASCO. If you don't know who ASCO is, they're a high-end dishwasher company. They used to be with Sub-Zero. I don't know who owns them now, but you want to sign up with them. If you they're a real good company to sign up with. Beko, I'm just gonna remain silent. Bertazzoni's good. I work with them. Bosch is good. Decor's good. DCS is good. Electrolux, Fisher Paykel, Frigidaire, Fulgor, GE, Headstand. I never heard of them. Hisense. I'm authorized. LaCanche, LG, Labeer, Midea, Miele, Samsung, Speed Queen, True, Whirlpool, Xenon, and Samsung. Well, they did Samsung twice. But I'm about factory authorized of, let me count. Bertazzoni, that's one. Hisense, that's two. LaCanche, that's three. LG, that's four. Labeer, that's five. Midea, that's six. Miele, that's seven. But only coffee makers. I wish I had their refrigeration. If I had Miele refrigeration in South Florida and I was their preferred vendor, I'd be wearing a Rolex right now. Samsung, I don't have them. Speed Queen, I don't have them. True, Whirlpool, but I have Xenon. Xenon is a wonderful brand. I did an episode on Xenon. So I'm about 6 or 7 of these, and probably 1 or 2 more that's not even listed on here. But how did I become factory authorized? You know how I became factory authorized? I went to these conferences, and I met with the people. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been doing this for many years, going to these ASTIs. And when I used to go, I used to have like goals. I would say to myself, well, when I go, I want to go and learn technical knowledge. That was the first year when I went. I want to get access to all the technical content. I want to be access to this company, that company. And why was that so important to me? Because when I used to go out on the jobs, I would be stuck like Chuck. I would show up to these big units and not know anything. And I'll be like, OMG, how do I get out of this bond? So my first year of going to ASTI, my biggest goal was get all the technical connections I could get. And man, I spoke with everybody. I spoke with all these major manufacturers, and I gave them my card and I asked them for theirs. And I said, listen, when I show, how do I get technical support? How do I sign up with you guys? How can I get your schematics? How can I get somebody on the line? It took a lot of networking for me to get those sources, but I got them. I got direct contacts to pretty much everybody. Even if I'm not factory authorized, I have technical connections to get to them. And how? Because I went to these conferences. I met with their technical trainers. This was this was me back in 2000. This was last year's trade show. I'm going to share this video with y'all real quick. Let's go ahead and hit play. How do I open this? Hold on. I want to show y'all what this looks like in so hold on. What happens is you show up to this
Annual Services Trade Institute. Ladies and
when you show
gentlemen,
up, these are
I
all the
am
people
here
who's
to
typically
introduce you
there.
to the Annual Services Training Institute Trade Show.
These are all
We will open the booth and
the
take you
people. Let's
virtually
walk through
to the
some of
trade
the
show.
folks.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have
This is a healthcare program. They were at ASTI. Perhaps you want to sign up for healthcare. They were at ASTI. The Samurai. Let's give him a special shout out real quick. Be clear. While TMM Academics is perhaps, bar none, one of the finest, training resources in the appliance repair industry that is out there, before it was us, before us, there were the pioneers, Master Samurai Tech. In fact, I model myself as one of their alumni. Master Samurai is one of my OGs. This program right here, they were out there spreading information about their program. This is a great time to walk up to them and say, hey, does your program cover this? I need help with that. Can you do that? Well, great time. You're speaking to the CEO son right there. Who else was there? Electrolux. There's Brother B talking to Electrolux. How do you sign up with Electrolux? All you guys that are slow, oh, I'm slow. All this, man, you sign up with a company like Electrolux, you start getting about 4 or 5 calls a day. It depends though, because if they have services already in your area, I don't know how they may not mess with you. But say you live in the middle of nowhere, Delaware, they're gonna holler at you because they don't have nobody else. So this is a perfect time. They're like, if you live in the area and there's not a lot of servicers, great time to get your foot in the game now. Monopolize your area, corner the market. I was there interviewing Electrolux. Who else was there? LG. That's the boss of the bosses for LG. You want to sign up with LG? LG gives compressors daily. This compressor's broken. That compressor's broken. This compressor's broken. LG, LG, LG. Sign up with LG. Who else? Oh, Vulcan Lock Ring. They were out there. You could talk to them about, like you don't want to use torches and stuff. Solder. Solderless welding. Vulcan Lock Ring was out there giving a demonstration. Let's see how that demonstration looks. Let's see this in real time. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, this weapon right here, I'm trying to trademark this name and give it the name Thor's Hammer, because if you are a Marvel comic book fan and you know anything about Thor, Well, Thor had a hammer. He was a god. And only if you was chosen or if you was the elite can you lift Thor's hammer. Many have tried. The Hulk, Wolverine, Spider-Man, that one, this one. But none could lift it. Only one or two in the whole universe. So this tool right here, this big black tool with the two little prongs up top, I call that Thor's hammer. Because only the worthy are able to carry that. Let me show you what that fine tool does.
Use a tube joining system that's going to eliminate any kind of a leak or any kind of an ignition point.
You got your compressor. You give it a quick sanding.
My tube ends just like I do in a normal brazing operation. I've got the proper size connector. I'm going to go ahead and put that on here. I'll clean my other tube end as well. And from here, I'm going to make sure that I am using lock prep.
You get the right joint fitting. You give it
I'm going to
1 or 2 drops of this guy.
So
1,
this here is
2.
8mm tube, so it's going to be 2 drops.
1, 2. Push that in.
And I'm going to
couple
spin
turns
that around.
this way.
Capillary action is going to draw that lock prep inside of the body of the connector to make sure it gets all the way around.
There goes Thor's hammer. Watch this.
Mini. I'm going to keep one finger here on this side of the tube.
There goes Thor's hammer. Oh.
And I've now made a permanent leak-free connection. Safe. Above all,
I'm still trying to get one of those. They're about $2 grand for it, but I'm still trying to win one in the raffle. But they out there. Who else is out there? Oh, my dear. Man, you know how much money I've made with my dear? Oh, man. Special shout out to my dear. They were one of the best decisions I ever made to sign up with. I signed up with them early. I'm glad I'm their preferred vendor. Good luck if you in South Florida. You're definitely not going to beat me. I already made my bones with these guys. I'm their guy. But outside of South Florida, man, this is who you want to sign up with. They're on the horizon. I'm telling you, these guys send me a lot of work daily. I love working with my dear. Great company. I signed up with them at ASTI. Guardsman. That's a third party's warranty. Special shout out to David Velasquez, great guy. Look, you see this guy right here? He did an appliance repair simulator. You start seeing like future apps. You're in the know. Anything groundbreaking, ASTI covers it. Who else was there? GE. Oh, special shout out to Juan Morales from GE. If you don't know about the GE Smart Hub, these guys are there too. You want to talk to them too. Look at the background, ladies and gentlemen, of ASTI. Look at the ambiance. Look at the food. Look at the way the people are dressed. This isn't no hole in the wall, rinky-dink establishment. Who else was out there? Day Parts, one of the major parts distributors nationwide. If you're in Lenexa, Kansas, Coon Rapids, Minnesota, Eagan, Minnesota, St. Paul, damn, I skipped the list. Oh, wait, right here.
This is A-Coil.
Look at all these places. Brookfield, Waterloo, Iowa, Omaha, Nebraska, Dallas, Texas, Denver, Colorado. Day Parts. They're going to be out there. Great time to build your bones with them. Try to get low prices. This is a great time to look your parts guide square in the eyeballs. Respectfully, that is. And say to him, boss, what we doing here? I'm one of your guys, man. But you're treating me like, you know, some random alley cat. I need better prices. That's when he's going to say, oh, yeah, here's my card. When you get back to your brothers, email them and follow up and get better pricing. What if you get just 5% discount? 5% in 1 year on parts? Man, that's a nice chunk of change. Or because you met with your direct parts rep in your area. Who else is going to be there? The actual service, the behind the scenes of the ASTI. There goes David Costanzo. And shout out to this young lady right here in the pink. She was my co-anchor. She's from the Appliance Repairmen. They're a lead generation company. Roxanne Cross. Who else is gonna be there? Skills USA. And that was that year. Before I go, I'd like to keep going through my catalog though, guys. I'm gonna stop sharing and let me show you like from years back, like my first years when I would go like in Orlando and Texas. I used to travel so many miles to go to these things. Let me show you my first years. I'm going through my catalog here of my beginning YouTube days, if you will, of when I used to go to ASTI. Bear with me, y'all. Damn, I got a lot of videos. March 2022. Bear with me, y'all. September. Hold on, I'm trying to take y'all to like 2018 when I really started this YouTube thing of mine. And when I went to ASTI back in the days when I was a pup, I want to show you before the braids. 2020 recap. Look at this one here. Hold on, I got a video I want to show y'all. 1 second. Watch this video, y'all. I want to share my screen with y'all. Video details. Shit. This is when it was back in 2020. It was 850 at the time. I was talking about that then. I was talking about like you know, the different my recap, if you will. But I've been going to ASTI since 2019. So it's been about 5 years of me going to this thing. And again, it has proven successful for me. It has proven lucrative. It has proven hold on. I want to show you when I interviewed Lowe's. Because you know, Lowe's has a division of appliance repair too. I interviewed Lowe's. This was back in what year was this? 2020. I did this how to sign up with Lowe's. This was at the ASTI. Right here.
The most, Brother B, anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. I'm here with Stan Williams at the ASTI. Now, Stan,
These people at ASTI were thinking I was crazy. Back in 2020, none of these, and I say this respectfully, you know, a lot of these YouTube channels wasn't around. Respectfully, love, peace, and harmony. What I was doing was like crazy at the time. And it was looked at as taboo. ASTI didn't really roll the red carpet out to me, you know. They social media wasn't embraced, YouTube wasn't embraced, but slowly but surely they started opening up their doors for me. They started embracing me. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it brings me great joy to tell you that me and my business partner Rick, we're going to be giving SEAL system training this year. So if you want to learn SEAL system, right, and you have an understanding of the concept, You kind of know everything. You just need like one or two details. This is the perfect time for you, because brother Rick and I are gonna give a 1 day 134A training and a 1 day R600 training. And what do these trainings involve? These trainings are gonna be a module, start to finish, where Richard Zilka will be giving the lecture, and I myself will be doing the work. And from start to finish, we're going to walk you through a full sealed system repair. How to tap into the system. What do the pressures mean? How to use your manifold gauges. How to recover. How to charge, vacuum, sweep. All of these, working with dual evaporators, which is going to be tonight's tech talk. So stick around. You want to stick around for a little tech talk. All these different steps in seal system, we're going to be teaching it at the ASTI. So again, I went from a young man that, was just trying to get his foot in the door, and the industry looked at me like, to me just continuously going, to now they accept me. And now look, I'll be teaching. Me and my brother Richard Zilka will be giving hands-on training at ASTI in the subject matter of sealed system repairs. So in addition to signing up with these warranty companies, manufacturers, in addition to networking, in addition to, parts, connecting with your suppliers, your vendors, technical training, there's also going to be Brother B and Richard Zilka, TMM Academics. We're going to be headlining the technical side of ASTI seal system. It'll be 16-hour module, limited capacity. We pretty much already got the whole we pretty much got it already. Spaces is already occupied. It'll only be 40 people we're gonna limit. So again, if you want to get that kind of training, I'm telling you, I'll be there in person. I'll see you in person. I'll see you in person. Again, when is this, you ask? When does this take place? Let's add my screen. Pardon me. That's your countdown, guys. That's all the time you got left. You got 7 days, 20 hours, and 10 minutes before the trade show begins. Well, I'll see you there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, enough of industry news. Let's go ahead now and move on to our next segment. But before we move on to our next segment, let's show a little love to the comment section. We got my boy Arzu Enzu. Now, that's a real one right there. Arzu Enzu, you've been following me forever and a day, man. And, bro, I respect that. Happy New Year's to you and your family. Love, peace, and harmony. Thank you, Arzu Enzu, from the bottom of my heart. All right, we got a comment here from A Crew Singh. He says, hey, I live in Canada. Do you have any knowledge who supplies parts for commercial refrigeration like Amory, Marcone, or Reliable? Yes. I'm going to leave you my email, brother. Email me and I'm going to put you into the proper contact for your area. I'm writing my contact info here. Thank you, A Crew. All right. Michael Manuel. Hey, Michael, thank you for joining us this evening. tapped in. Appreciate you. Plumber, man, when we got other trades in the appliance repair podcast, I'm honored, man, and flattered. To all the plumbers out there, electricians out there, carpenters, welder, all the tradesmen, happy New Year's, and may it be a healthy, wealthy, and successful year for y'all. Thank you, brother Plumber Payday, for tuning in. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So we did an industry news tonight. All right, now we're gonna get into our next subject matter, which is tech talk. All right, tech talk. And tonight's tech talk is gonna be in regards to dual evaporators. Okay, we work on dual evaporators in the appliance repair industry, but a lot of us don't even know what the heck that is. And in tonight's episode of Tech Talk, Brother B is going to be getting into dual evaporator training. What is dual evaporator training? Well, before we get into dual evaporator training, we got to pay the bills. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to take this time and shout out our sponsors who are sponsoring tonight's video, and that is MSAworld.com. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a subscription with these folks. Let me tell you a little bit about who they are. Anytime that you need service bulletins, anytime that you need tech sheets, this is where you want to go to. You come on over to MSAworld.com. In the search bar, you put in the model number, get your tech sheet, and here's what the tech sheets look like. Nice and clear, how to activate service mode, diagnostic mode, nice and clear. They don't have watermarks like some other websites do that you can't even see the tech sheet because they put their watermark on it, not MSAworld.com. So again, if you want to show love to this video and you want to show love, please go on over to MSAworld.com and get your tech sheets, service bulletins, diagrams, and many more perks by signing up with them. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So again, in tonight's episode of Livehour, of Tech Talk, we're gonna be getting into dual evaporator training. Let me share my screen with y'all. I may have to charge this. How many more minutes my computer has? 24 minutes. I may have to charge this in 24 minutes. But anyway, let's do a little technical training tonight. All right. If you're in the mood for technical training when it comes to dual evaporators, tune in. This is for you. All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to tonight's episode of Tech Talk. In tonight's episode of Tech Talk, we're going to be getting into dual evaporator refrigerator training. Now, what does dual evaporator mean? Well, back in the days, normal refrigerators would work something like this, right? Where you would have a single evaporator. That evaporator would be located somewhere here in your freezer compartment. What would happen is that freezer evaporator would absorb the heat within the box. That evaporator fan would then blow cool air through a damper over your food, back through a return duct to then go over your evaporator and repeat the process indefinitely. This is what a standard single evaporator system would look like. Very common for many years. Well, what's good, Untamed? You good? Thank you for tapping in, bro. We talking dual evaporators tonight, brother Untamed. So what started happening was we started getting dual evaporators where you would have an evaporator in this compartment, the freezer. You also would have a evaporator in the refrigerator compartment. Now, distinguishing difference between these two units is the damper and the return duct. If you notice up here in the single, in this top left portion of the fresh food side, where this arrow sign is, that's where you would find your damper. And then at the lower portion, where the crispers are, that's where your return duct would be. But in dual evaporators, you see that that's not the case. Each compartment is independently isolated, each compartment individually cooled. Now, you probably asking yourself the $1,000,000 question. Brother B, why the hell did they do this nonsense? Man, I am not the government, but I'll tell you the talking points for the government. All right. Benefit of dual evaporator technology. All right. So in 2004, whoever the geniuses was, well, in 2001, the Department of Energy, whoever the genius was that decided this, said the following: it's going to have better tasting ice, near silent, 20% less freezer defrost, meaning better food preservation. There's also going to be more space on the top shelf. Remove fresh food fan pendulum. No eagle. Not sure what that means. 2 times more humidity and independent adaptive cooling. Variable speed compressors, fans, and dual evaporators. And then they wonder why things started to break all of a sudden. And then our customers started saying things like, my fridge before would last 20 years. Yeah, that's because your fridge before didn't have independent adaptive cooling with variable speed compressor, fan, and dual evaporators. You, sir, had the standard. But that's what the government wants us to tell our customers there. What are the benefits of dual evaporators? All right. Now, let's go. I want to show you a different slide here. This is a good slide I ran across when I was working with Sears back in the days. And they made this for LG Kenmore units, right? So, guys, what are we looking at here? Right? What are we looking at here? What we're looking at here is a refrigeration circuit, right? Represented by your compressor, followed by a discharge line, going to your condenser, passing through a yoder, going through a dryer, going through what they refer to as a jumper tube, which then goes to your 3-way valve, which goes through 2 capillary tubes, one feeding your freezer compartment and one feeding your refrigerator compartment, represented by this line here. Now, after it goes through your refrigerator compartment evaporator, represented by this thick solid blue line, it then goes through what's called your suction line back to your compressor. Also represented in the freezer compartment, same thing, passes through something called the check valve, which then goes through the same suction line that your refrigerator compartment shares, which then goes back to your compressor. This circuit here, ladies and gentlemen, represents a dual evaporator system. Again, if you are a service technician and what I'm showing you makes no sense to you, you need to go to that ASTI training, come tap in with us. If you can't make it to that, then yeah, you need to come to South Florida and mess with us, because you need to understand this. Like this discharge line, what temperature should it be? Should it be cool to the touch, warm to the touch? What's going on in this blue line right here from the compressor to the condenser? Is it a vapor? Is it a gas? Like what state of freon is this? Is it high pressure, low pressure? What are your running pressures? I mean, on this system, what's your high side and low side supposed to look like? If you don't even know what that means, then you need to come talk to us. All right, but let's continue talking about dual evaporators. So when it comes to dual evaporators, they're going to have something called a three-way valve. Three-way valve. What is a three-way valve? Well, it looks like this on the refrigeration diagram. But what does it look like in real life? If I'm out in the field, how is it going to look like? Here it is right here. Here's your compressor, represented by this black hermetic dome looking device here. Okay, with the white label on it. That's your compressor. Now, over here, this component with the black top, white bottom, that's your three-way valve. Now, notice, going to the three-way valve, you have this copper tube here. That's one. You have this copper tube here. That's two. And then you got this one here. That's three. Okay? So that's what it looks like in real life. When you pull the compressor cover off, that's what you're gonna see. In real life, this. But what does it look like in the diagram? It looks like this. Right? So again, we know what the condenser is, right? Over here, condenser. We know what that is. Let's go to the condenser. We know that our condenser is over here, represented by these coils that are over here, right? So again, out of the compressor, the thinner of the two copper lines, one is going to be thicker than the other. The thicker one is the suction. The thinner one is your discharge. This discharge should feel a little warm going to the condenser, right? Now, after it passes through the condenser coil, it's going to come out through this copper, followed by my mouse, going here in this direction by this yellow dots. So again, it goes into the condenser. After it goes loop, 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 it's going to come out of the condenser. Let me remove that Tech Talk banner so you guys can see better. Hold on. One second, y'all. Let me give y'all a better view on this. All right, so there y'all have it, right? I got a bunch of comments. Let me say what's up. Okay, we said what's up to all that. All right. All right, again, so coming out of your compressor, It's going to go into the condenser coil. It's going to go loop, 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 loop. And then after it's done, it's going to come out of the condenser coil, represented by these yellow arrows here. Now, if you notice the pipe, the color of the metals change. You'll notice where that sign that says 2 Yoder loop, one side is copper, one side is a dissimilar metal. That's where it's going to enter into your Yoder loop. Now, a lot of you guys is like, what's the Yoder loop? Well, that's the loop that goes around the freezer door to prevent molding and condensation buildup. They refer to it as the condenser loop. So again, after it comes out of the condenser, it's going to go into a part of the fridge where they call inaccessible, meaning internal. You can't see this part of the fridge. It's internal. So after it goes out of that condenser, it's going to pass through this condenser loop, and you can't access that. That's the Yoder. After it comes out of the Yoder, it's going to go to the dryer. Let's see if that's true. So again, discharge is where it comes out of the compressor. It's going to go into the condenser. After it comes out of the condenser, represented by these yellow lines going upward, it's going to go into the Yoder. Now the Yoder is going to come out here, represented by these yellow arrows, which then goes into your dryer, which they put this little foaming, I think they put that there for the noise vibration, honestly. I'm not sure what the hell that is. But anyway, here's your hot side process stub, represented by your filter dryer. Now, if you notice, your dryer is going to go right down here to your 3-way valve. Okay? So from the dryer to the 3-way valve, they refer to this little line as the jumper tube. I didn't come up with that name. Where did I get that name from? All right, let's go to GE real quick. I want to show you guys something real quick. Bear with me. Bear with me. Bear with me. We're going to get more into all of this, guys. Hold on. All right, so we're at the 3-way valve. Okay, so what did we say? We said that out of the dryer, there's going to be a tube from the dryer to the 3-way valve. Again, from the dryer to the 3-way valve, there's going to be a tube. And what's that tube called? The jumper tube. And what does the jumper tube look like in real life? Let's look at that together. There goes your dryer. And represented by the yellow lines, the yellow dots, from the dryer to the 3-way valve, this copper line here is called your jumper tube. Okay, so your jumper tube is what's going to fill the 3-way valve, right? So now that it's in the 3-way valve, what's going to happen? Well, it's going to go 2 places. One place here is going to go to fresh food evaporator. The other place is going to have a secondary capillary that's going to go to the freezer evaporator. Okay, so there you have it. What the 3-way valve does in simple terms is send Freon to one of 2 destinations: your fresh food or your freezer evaporator. But why do they call it 3-way? What makes it a 3-way? What does that mean? Well, that means that it has 3 positions that it could be in. And I'll explain to you what they are. Number one, the first position, it could be in the refrigerator compartment only. Oh boy, what the heck happened here? Apologies, guys. Something happened. Dual. Sorry, guys. Okay, so again, it has this module says 4 operating modes, but this is incorrect. It only has 3. The first one is in the refrigerator compartment only. So what does that mean when refrigerator compartment? Well, what that means is if this 3-way valve, this over here, is in the first position, what will happen is out of the compressor, the refrigeration will travel through the discharge line. It will pass through your condenser. It will pass through your yoder. It will pass through the dryer. It will pass through the jumper tube. It will then go to your 3-way valve, which will then send it to the refrigerator compartment evaporator. That's position 1. Now, nothing is going to be happening in the freezer compartment evaporator. Only the refrigerator compartment will be happening during this first step. But if the 3-way valve is in the second position, then that means it will pass only through the freezer compartment. Well, how does that look? Simple. It will go through everything starts at the compressor. From the compressor, it travels through the discharge line, goes through the condenser, passes through the yoder, passes through the dryer, passes through the jumper tube, goes to the 3-way valve, but rather than going to the refrigerator compartment evaporator, it will travel to the freezer compartment evaporator, which will then travel through a check valve, which I'll explain later, which will then go through the suction line back to the compressor. So that's the second position. Now, the third position is what's called the home position. This is a very important position. The home position means that both the refrigerator evaporator and the fresh food evaporator are open at the same time. So that means that this valve is not only feeding one evaporator, it's feeding the other evaporator at the same time. So Freon is passing through both evaporators, and then it's traveling through our suction line, which is then returning through our compressor. So again, it has 3 positions: freezer, fresh food, and home. Home means that both evaporators are open at both times. I know that this is a little complex, and I know that it's a little challenging, but if you have any questions, let me know. All right? Speak now. But what's important about that 3-way valve? What makes that important? Well, imagine this. Imagine that you're working on a unit that has a refrigerator compartment restriction. Let's say that the fresh food evap has a restriction somewhere in the capillary line or the evaporator, Lord knows, and you having issues. If you work on the unit and that 3-way valve is in the freezer position, it will not travel through the fresh food and service what you need done. Now, let me show you what I mean in a pictorial diagram. So, let's say that you working on a unit, right? And the unit you working on, the fresh food compartment is your freezer compartment is your culprit. Let's say that the evaporator has a restriction, right? That's the scenario. You go work on a unit, and the freezer compartment has a restriction in the evaporator. But when you go, you work on the unit, but the three-way valve may be only in the refrigerator compartment. So let me explain to you what's going to happen. Let's say that that's the case. If you get to a unit and your issues are in the freezer compartment, but that three-way valve is in the refrigerator compartment, then everything you do is going to be in this circuit only. Compressor, condenser, yoder, dryer, jumper, three-way, refrigerator, suction, compressor. Nothing will be done in the freezer compartment. Any restrictions, anything, leaks, anything will not be revealed because that three-way valve is in one position. If you're going to work on a unit that has two evaporators, it's imperative that you put the unit in the home position, meaning both evaporators are open. Why? Because if you put in nitrogen through the system, if you vacuum in the system, evacuating this, anything that you're doing, both evaporators are open, not just one. You know what it is that you do a unit and you only work on one side of the unit and the other side is contaminated and you don't know. And then you pick up your tools and you walk away. The unit will work fine temporarily. Once that unit goes into the home position, any impurities or debris that was in one side and you didn't take care of it will now introduce itself to the other side. So it's imperative if you ever gonna do any type of sealed system work, it's imperative to put the three-way valve into the home position where both evaporators are open. The entire system is open and you can perform repairs on both sides. Now you may be asking me, how do you do that? How do you put it in the home position? What is the home position? Well, the home position is simple. If you get to the fridge and the unit is unplugged, you simply pick the plug up and you plug it into the wall. You count 12 seconds, 1001, 1002, 1003. And if you put your finger on the three-way valve, and I want to share a slide with you, because a lot of people say, how do you know how to test it? Well, if the unit is unplugged, you simply plug it back in and you put your hand on the three-way valve and you should feel it. And as per the manufacturer, if movement is present, meaning the three-way valve, you hear it and feel it vibrating. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. If you feel that three-way valve moving for those first initial 10 to 12 seconds to be counted like so, 1001, 1002, 1003. When you do that, then your three-way valve is working and the board. Why? Because it says so here. If movement is present, the main board and the valve coil are operating correctly. Okay? And that's testing the three-way valve. You didn't have to break out your voltmeter and go here to there. But if you want to do that too, I have the slide for that too. All three-way valves will have 6 pins. They receive 12 volts VDC pulses from the main board. And they have a resistance value of about 46 ohms. So you're going to go to the 1 and 3 pin, and then you're going to go to the 4 and the 6 pin. Each one of those should give you about 46 ohms. But again, simply by putting your hand on it and testing it, if the unit has movement and you feel it vibrating, the main board and the valve are operating correctly. I've yet to see one of these things go bad, honestly. All right, we got a couple comments. Let's read what we got here. Man, we getting into the hour mark, and I'm still talking. Do you have any connections with LG Rep? I do, quite a few. The ones in my area. For Arizona, well, brother Thomas Braggs, I will tell you the LG will be there in person, and they will have reps in the area. So it's a great way to meet with them and build a rapport. All right. So guys, let's finish up here on three-way valves. I'm almost done. Okay, so again, three-way valves. I told you what they do. Oh, let's talk pressures real quick. So on your low side, you want to have 0 to 5 psi. On your high side, you want to have 70 to 130, but I typically see 120 to 130 psi on my high side. Your psi shouldn't matter no matter what position the three-way valve is in. Again, guys, if you're going to vacuum, charge, or anything, please put the three-way valve in the home position. If you ever going to brace, apply a wet cloth at the top of the valve to keep the valve cool. There's some part numbers I want to show you guys. This is what the three-way valve body looks like. There's a rotor, cam, and a magnet. Here's a picture of LG's three-way valve. Again, you got 2 capillaries, 1 feed in the freezer evaporator, 1 feed in the fresh food evaporator, and then you got your jumper tube. There you go. Jumper tubes, the one coming from the dryer. Capillary tubes, the one going to the fresh food. Capillary tube going to the freezer. Write this down. If you're ever going to do evaporator repairs, this is a good part number to buy. And you could put it here if you're ever going to have to replace the evaporator. Now, check valves. I told you I would talk about check valves, right? What are check valves? Well, LG uses them. GE uses them. Here's a LG refrigerator, a refrigeration diagram. And if you notice, out of the freezer compartment, it passes through something called the check valve. What the heck is that, brother B? Well, I'm going to make sense of it. The check valve, right, is basically like a little device where in your suction line, it allows Freon to pass through one way, but not return through the other way. Sort of like a diode in an electrical circuit. So, what a check valve is, it's a nylon piston. Inside the check valve floats back and forth depending on refrigerant flow. The check valve prevents refrigerant from flowing back into the evaporator. The nylon piston is extremely heat sensitive, therefore a check valve is only available with a new evaporator. That's GE's design. LG's is a little different. Let's see how theirs works. Let's study their check valve. Bear with me. Bear with me, guys. Okay. Due to the orientation of the check valve and the fact that it is inaccessible, a forward direction of refrigerant flow is required to purge through the freezer cap tube. That's something that I gotta get into, but they still haven't shown me where about the check valve. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to show you. I have a slide here in particular about LG and their check valve. Please give me 1 second while I locate it. No, I don't have time. Well, I'll tell you what it does. So, if you see this blue arrow over here, here's your check valve, right? So, let's go back to the refrigeration circuit from the top. Here's your compressor. Out of your compressor, it travels through your condenser, represented by my mouse. This is your condenser, which should feel a little warm to the touch. Now, after it passes through these series of coils, which is your condenser, it's going to come out of your condenser and then travel upwards into your yoder. We spoke about that. We said what the yoder does earlier. Now, after it comes out of your yoder, it's going to go here through your filter dryer. We said that. Then it's going to go into your jumper tube, going into your three-way valve, and now you got two capillaries. One capillary, represented by these blue dots, is going to fill your freezer compartment, right? It's going to come in through this capillary tube right over here, the skinny one, and it's going to travel through this evaporator, all these coils. Woo, 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 woo. After it does all of that, now it has to return, right? It's going to travel through what's called the suction line, represented by green. Now follow these green dots. Now, if you notice right here in the blue, that's your check valve. Once the freon passes through here, it can't backflow into the evaporator. It's forced to then travel downward into our suction line, which is represented by the green, which is the thick 1/4 or 5/16 suction line. Over here represented in the yellow. Okay. Now, the importance of it is to prevent freon from one evaporator traveling back into the other. That's why they put the check valve. Okay. Now, guys, I know it's getting late at night. We've been talking an hour and 15 minutes. I hope you guys still with me. But that's what your dual evaporator is. Again, just to summarize tonight's episode of Tech Talk, if you ever gonna work on a system and it has dual evaporator, please make sure you put the unit in the home position. Just to recap, how do you do that? Unplug it, plug it back in, count 12 seconds, 1001, 1002, 1003, and then when you unplug it, it will be in the home position. It's at that position you can do your recharge, you can do your vacuum, you can do all of your seal system uh services while the three-way valve is in the home position. Don't work on it when it's in one and the other side of your unit may be contaminated. Okay? That was the highlight of tonight's show. You want to make sure that you put that thing in the home position. All right, let's also recap tonight's show. ASTI. We spoke about the importance of that. We spoke about signing up. We spoken about attending. Fred, what's good, Fred? You good? I hope you enjoying tonight's show, brother. We spoke, guys, about ASTI. 7 days, 19 hours. Here's all the sponsors that's gonna be there. Service Bench, Service Web, Assurant, Marcone, Melee, Plus One, Solutions, all these different manufacturers and vendors, they're gonna be there. What else did we speak about tonight? We spoke tech talk. We spoke dual evaporators. And then, ladies and gentlemen, before I let you guys go, I've been speaking an hour and 18 minutes. It's only right. I've given so much in tonight's show. It's only right that I get my little merchandise off, my products off. But I assure you that they home runs and they will make you very lucrative. So again, ladies and gentlemen, if you support this subject matter, going over to tmmacademics.com, go to our hands-on training tab. When you go there, you get to see our upcoming events. We got 2. If you like tonight's subject matter and you serious about putting this into practical repairs, hands-on training, doing it with a live unit, we got 2 classes coming up. February 14th through the 17th. We also got April 18th through the 21st. Okay, we got 2 classes coming up this year. Get in while you fit in. The doors are open now. Don't be like Noah's Ark when the doors close. Please let me in. I'll pay double. Bro, we only, number one, we have to buy these refrigerators in advance. We have to have these tools in advance. When our students arrive, we have to have the material for them. Don't show up last minute and then put us in a compromising bond when everybody got their equipment and you don't got yours. You didn't tell us you were coming. You understand? So if you coming, book now because we're going to cut it off about 1 week before the class begins. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I've been talking my rear off. I love y'all. Listen, Happy New Year's. First of the year. What's your resolution? I hope you have good resolutions. I hope your resolutions are to be a better professional, better servicer, better businessman, better human. Those are mine. I'm just reflecting to you what mine are. And I hope 2000, no, I don't hope, because there's power in your words. I know that this year, 2025, is going to be your best year. I pray that for you. I know it's going to happen. I love you guys. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you guys in Orlando next week. Love, peace, harmony. Shout out to my brother Rob for being in the building. If you're going to be at ASTI, leave me a little like. Reach out to me. I'll see you there. Please smash that like button. I love y'all guys. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Another episode of YouTube's premiere Off the Clock Appliance Repair Talk for Off the Clock Appliance Repair Techs. I'm the host with the most, Brother B. And you could have been anywhere in the world, but you was here with me. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Love, peace, harmony.